Hi, I'm Julie O'Connor, and this is my piece, Fierce Tete-a-Tete, for the Curve Gallery show, #Woman. My photograph depicts two women sitting on a bench on the waterfront of the quiet Venetian island called Giudecca. Two old and intelligent friends having an animated conversation about important life issues. Perhaps they could be characters in an Elena Ferrante novel. There's a lot I could tell you about this photograph, but what I really want to tell you is the story of why I was in Giudecca on that warm fall day in September of 2017. In this brief video, you will see some of my other images from that day and the painting that is significantly at the very heart of this photograph. In May 2017, my husband and I made our first trip back to Venice in 46 years. One night at a casual restaurant, we were seated on a large floating box set right in the Giudecca Lagoon. From our corner table, we could look back at the swerve of the promenade. I had never been to this spot before, yet it somehow seemed familiar. Could this possibly be the exact spot where Antonietta Brandeis created that small oil painting of Venice that has hung in the center of our home library for almost 20 years? The painting's details are imprinted on my mind. The unique shape of the Venetian church called the Zitel in silhouette, and the architecture seemed identical. There was the same bend in her composition. A feeling of warm familiarity came over me. The antique masted sailing ships from the painting were gone, replaced by today's small, swift Venetian boats and humongous cruise ships. But so much else was the same. When we returned home, we immediately decided to make another trip to Venice in September. We were going to do all the things we hadn't had time for in May. More exciting, my research had confirmed my thesis. We had accidentally discovered the exact viewpoint of Antonietta's painting. It was with a singular focus that I went back to Giudecca to explore it further in the daylight, to see how many of the details of her painting still remained. After a birthday lunch, I wandered along the Strand, fascinated by how much had not changed. I literally had jumped into the picture, stepped into the canvas she had painted. Remarkably, I realized later, the two women in my image, Fierce Tete-a-Tete, are positioned just where Antonietta painted two male figures in tete-a-tete, walking away from the viewer along the same esplanade. I had stepped not only into Brandeis's painting, but into her world. It was not easy to be a female artist in those days. Born in 1848, her talent was so great that she was among the first female art students to study at the Venetian Academy of Fine Arts, as early as 1866, perhaps, almost a decade before it became technically legal for women to study there in 1875. She would go on to live and create in Venice for 40 years, and to paint throughout Italy as well, before moving to Florence. In keeping with the theme of #woman, I hope you enjoy this brief journey to how one woman's art influenced another woman's art over a century later. And I also hope you appreciate the chance to get to know something about a pioneering woman artist, Antonietta Brandeis. Thank you.